What's up guys, Team teambeige here, and today we're back with another video, and today I'm bringing you all my Lunalight deck profile. I got first place last night at Locals, and we're going to talk about it. So, this is by far, I think, my favorite deck that I've played in the, past couple months. I took it to Nats this year, didn't do so great, which was a little disappointing, but I overall really enjoy these cards a lot, and I honestly got them in anticipation of Justice Hunters. Just because originally I wasn't like a big fan of everything in the Justice Hunters meta. I eventually picked up Draco Tail, and I'm kind of building Yummy, and I have Canine Crystron built. But this deck, I think, is actually the one that I enjoy the most, and I think is the most fun. So let's talk about it. So these new cards were released in Duelist Advance, but during that time, we were still seeing a lot of Malice with a lot of Bystials. Lancia was being played, Drold was being played from Mitsurugi, but now with Yummy, Draco Tail, and Canine Vanquish Soul in the mix, not a lot of people are playing Droll on the side. People are still playing Lancia. There's less Bystials, but this deck is really good, and I'll tell you guys why. So this deck has a lot of engine to it, and sometimes that engine can make really good pushes going second, which is really needed for a deck, in my opinion, this format. And yeah, like this deck is really strong. It can do a lot of fusion and XYZ plays, a little bit of like utility link plays, but mostly fusion. You want to get into your Liger Dancer, which is your boss monster, in Absolute Towers. I'm gonna go over some of the cards. But these have been out for like a little bit, so I'm not going to talk about them too much. As far as my matchups last night, I played against two Yummy, two Draco Tail, one of which was the Dragon Maid version, and then I played against one Canine Crystron. So all things considered, I mean, it's Locals, but like all things considered, it was like everything from Justice Hunters, which I was really glad about to like test out the main deck and side deck. So we're gonna get right into it, and I'll show you guys like the side deck I played and that you can consider. But what matters is like the main and the extra. So we play 3 gold Leo. This is your main starter. Searches on summon, and then it pitches from your hand. And then if something is sent to the grave while it's on the field, you can add it from grave to hand. So this is a great, this is the best card in the deck. This is like literally what gets your plays going. It is literally broken. 2 Kaleido Chick. This card is absurd because it foolishes for cost from your main or extra. If it's sent to grave by card effect, you can add Poly back. And then if it's banished, it's the Transcendent Dragon, so you can't use effects during the battle phase, or your opponent can't. This card's really broken, especially if people like don't fully, like I always explain to them that it sends for cost, but sometimes like the ramifications of that can be really broken. Because like they can't really imperm this unless you're sending like Leo Dancer and you don't want that, or like they don't want you to copy the name. But like this card is really, really good. A lot of times if they have stuff like Izuna or like go into Nash Knight or Valen or just some type of interaction, it's usually to stop them from getting the Kaleido Chick, or having its effect resolve. So this is a new change that I've been doing since my Nats list. I'm playing 2 Silverhound. Basically, if this is sent to the grave by card effect, you can summon 1 from deck, but you're locked into Lunalights while that monster's on the field. And then if your opponent activates a spell or trap, you can banish it and a fusion from grave to negate the activation. I was originally playing 1 at Nats, and it was like all right for the time. But lately I've been playing 2, and honestly, I've been liking this a lot. Just as like being able to go poly and just like fuse away Silverhound like easily is really nice. And also it's been letting me have something on like the crackback if I have to like make pushes going on turn 3 for any reason. If I had like a half board, or somehow they like usually you can end on like Liger, SP, Baguska, and then this engrave. But so if they like push through the SP or Baguska and you have Liger, but you just need like a little bit of momentum, it's nice to have this in live in deck. 1 Yellow Martin, this is an extender. It's bounces 1 to summon, and if it's sent to grave, you can add a spell or a trap. And then we're playing 1 Tiger and then 1 Wolf. Tiger's broken. It was on the ban list. You can Monster Reborn a Lunalight from grave with its effects negated, and it can't attack. That almost came up last night where I completely forgot the attack, and so I had to I was able to win on the my next turn, but it was I was like, oh no, I have to recover from this. So make sure you remember that. And then Wolf is Miracle Fusion for a Lunalight. It's really good. It's how you make Liger under Droll. There's like certain lines that do it. And you have to kind of like be careful, especially now that they ruled like against Dagaris being able to use its effect with no monsters in grave. Okay, we're back. And yeah, so I played 3 Black Sheep. I think this card is really broken. It like uh you can add poly really easily. You can add stuff from grave back, and you can add stuff from extra or grave back if it's fused away. You can like get away with playing 2, but it was nice to just have this to like see a bunch of engine, because I really just wanted that like to be able to just fuse as much as possible. And so having this was really nice. For kind of like a little mini engine, we played the one fractal. This dumps your Silverhound, and sometimes this is where it's nice of being able to like it's also Silverhound is a big choke point for like Ash Blossom or Dominus Impulse. And so if you go Fractal, send Silverhound, and they like stop it. That's why I also kind of wanted another Silverhound deck to keep playing. But we play one Fractal. And then I played 3 Lunalight Masquerade. This is Foolish Burial, and it also adds back Poly from Grave or Banish, which is really, really good. And I loved finding that out. And just gonna move some of these so we can get to the next one. And then this is one I've gone back and forth on, but I've just kind of settled on it with less droll in the main. We're playing 3 Fire Formation Tanky. This adds you any level 4 or lower Beast Warrior from your deck to hand. 3 Lunalight Perfume. This card's broken. It's Monster Reborn, and it also searches you a card. This is where they like usually Lancia you, if anything, because once this gets engraved, they Lancia you so you can't search, which is really annoying, but it is what it is. 1 Polymerization to search off Black Sheep, and then 1 Lunalight Fusion. So I really like Lunalight Fusion as like a breaker going second, especially like just because basically what this card says is if your opponent controls something from the extra deck, you can dump one from main or extra to fusion summon. So this, if I have like 3 names in hand and then they have something from extra and they don't interact with this, that's Liger, because we just dump Leo and we like play. So it's really broken. 1 Foolish Burial. You need this just to dump like Silverhound or Yellow Martin. And then 3 Foolish Burial Goods, and then 1 Serenade Dance and 1 Black Goat Laugh. So this is something I've been back and forth on. Whether I was playing like the goods package, and I did it Nats and I liked it, but I just was like kind of back and forth on like if I wanted the like the extra bricks in my deck. But honestly, like Black Goat Laughs is so good into a lot of the Justice Hunter decks. Like Snatchy, sometimes like going second against Draco Tail, and if I was able to bait like Flame or something, or I know I can play through it, I go Foolish Burial Good, stump this, and they can't like Altharian bounce everything. It's really, really good. This card won me like a lot of games last night, and also having like this plus Silverhound like basically guaranteed I would like always play. And it's also great because Foolish Burial Goods plus Black Goat is like essentially non-engine, which is really nice. Speaking of which, we played for our non-engine 3 Fualos. This card's just really good right now. 3 Ash Blossom. It is a defensive card and just able to deal with stuff like Zuna and other Mulch armies. You only really care about Fua like a little bit. So yeah, so Ash is really good. I played 3 Book of Eclipse. This is something I just wanted to try out for stuff like as a breaker against Yummy and then Crystron. This actually also weirdly enough did come up against like Draco Tail, because one of my opponents ended up summoning a window on my turn, and I sided this out, and I even had a card that I had like sided in instead of this, and I would have been able to keep playing if I just like gone Eclipse Book. So this card I think is kind of good and it has its utility. I was a little sus of it just because it can be negated by things like Ash and Purge and Flame, but I may try it out a little bit more. And then the last like non-engine I played was like 3 Impulse. This was like 12 non-engine, not including the like Foolish Goods package, which was a little sketchy in my opinion. I feel like maybe somewhere there should be like Imperm or Nibiru, just for like some of the more combo heavy decks. But honestly, like I'll keep testing with this, but this worked, so it was pretty aight. That's it for the main deck. 42 cards. I tried getting it to 40, but I think it like was whatever. You can maybe replace like one of the Black Sheeps for like some extra non-engine space. And then for the big boss herself, Big Mom, we have 2 Liger Dancer. This is the heart and soul of the deck. This card's just absurdly broken. The Justice Hunter decks can barely out this. K9 needs to get to Werewolf and use Case to be able to get Werewolf to like 4,000 attack, but by then you can hopefully like Liger Dancer like pop. Like against K9 Crystron, I was just waiting until I saw a way for them to be able to like push to make it, and I think it was literally them going rank up into Liger or into Werewolf that I was like, Liger, bet you can't out it. Let's go. And then like against like one of my Draco Tail players, they had to go like Dragoon negate to be able to go over it. So it's kind of broken. 2 Leo Dancer, this is all you need. You don't really need to play anymore of this, but this is kind of what it is. And then this is going to look a little funny. I played 3 Perfume Dancer. 2 just to have his utility, and then this one can be actually anything, like any Lunalight name in my opinion, because I'm also playing the 1 Cat Dancer. I think Cat Dancer is really broken into like Vanquishal, and you can get them into like some niche OTK scenarios where they put their stuff in attack, and then you just go this back, tribute, attack, boom, boom, boom. But this can either be Panther or Saber. I was just trying this just as because I was also playing a heavy poly on the side, and so I wanted something with like low attack that I could just dump. You can like make Leo Dancer if you play Panther Dancer, but I think this is like fine as is. I personally, I know some more people are comfortable with 7 names. I personally like 8 in the extra. And then for the XZs, we're playing 1 Baguska, 1 Dugaris, 1 Tiger King, and 1 Dempsey. I'm playing Dempsey over Nyarla just because I'm playing Impulse and I kind of want things to synergize as much as possible. And honestly, like detaching 2 hasn't come up too much, so I'm like kind of okay with it. Tiger King was really good just to set tanky, and it also serves as like a breaker if they don't like do anything about it. Like you can just negate stuff on the field. Dugaris is absurd. I think I drew more than I reborned with him, but the reborn still comes up. I try like if my hand allows it, I try to not use this in my main combo just so like I don't skip my next main phase. And then Baguska is just Baguska. And then for like the last cards in the extra, we played 1 Almirage, 1 Cross Sheep, and 1 SP. This is kind of all you need. I'm back on Almirage just because of cards like Lunalight Perfume. It helps you play if you draw like Gold Leo plus Perfume and they impermit. So it didn't like come up a lot, but you know, it also helps like make SP if you need to out like Tikaboo. Tikaboo can be a problem for this deck, and like Vanquishal's playing it. So that's it for the extra deck. And then for the side deck, this is kind of like where I was just experimenting a bit. So I ended up playing 3 Lancia just because I knew my locals had like a little bit more malice still, and also like Crystron. So, you know, keeping Lancia in was still kind of nice. I didn't side it in, I think, at all, even against the 1 Crystron player. I just decided to not play it based off of like what else I was siding. So it's like it's all right. I hate this card so much, and I really wanted to leave side decks. 3 Perulia. It's Perulia. Like you kind of play it into just like K9 decks and Vanquish Soul. And yeah, that was kind of it. I just wanted like 8, even though they like will probably more than likely go into Dice Smashers. Like if you charm me them or hand trap them. But I just wanted something to apply a little bit of pressure. Now if they saw my list, they would see that like Ash Imp and Impulse were kind of like the main punishes, so I kind of got lucky there that I didn't get Dice Smasher. But yeah, so we play 3 Perulia, and then I played 2 Thrust, 1 Ruler, 1 Heavy Poly, 1 Duster, 1 Talent, and then 1 Call, and then 1 Called By as like our spells. So this looks really funky, and I don't have a lot of logic behind this, but I was just like, I kind of wanted 6 cards approximately going second. Because I think going second, I would take out like 2 Tanky, 2 Masquerade, 1 Sheep, and then I think the last card was like sometimes maybe Fractal, depending on you know the weather. And so like this was kind of just really good. Like what I put in against more of anything, like this was all against Yummy. Against Draco Tail, depending on the version of Draco Tail, like against the regular one, I took out the ruler for the called by, just to be able to hit stuff like Femena. They have like flame, which can be annoying to deal with, but I just want stuff to make pushes. Normally I'm not a huge fan of heavy poly just because of like Burger. And I'm kind of glad I didn't play against Vanquish Soul last night, but I'll have to test against it some more. But like this card is really good into the other decks because if you can drop this, they're not outing Liger. They're like genuinely not. So yeah, it was pretty good, I'd say, for the most part. And then the last 2 cards I had on the side were Rivalry of the Warlords and Ghost and Match. Since we can usually end on darks a lot, the whole Lunalight engine is dark, which is really good. And then Rivalry is like kind of an FTK against like these are mainly for Vanquish Soul and Crystron, like any K9 variants. So we kind of just had these. I don't think I used them at all last night, but they were still like pretty good. That's it for the main deck. As far as things like I'd maybe like consider going forward, because I think honestly I'm gonna mess with Draco Tail and Crystron a little bit, but this is like I think my favorite deck right now that I just get like the most enjoyment from. I'd say one thing, like I said, you can do is you can cut down on a sheep. So you only play like 2. That would bring this even to 41. And then you can play 1 hound. I've seen actually 2 hound I think become a little bit more normalized, which is interesting in my opinion. Seeing like people actually decide that like that is a little bit more standard. They're kind of thinking like, since this is, I think Justice Hunters is a very like engine focused format. Like hand traps or non-engine is like really important, but I think having good engine is like super necessary. And so I think like making choices like that in deck building is really important. I might like consider siding Eclipse for like imperm, which isn't strong, but it might get you there, especially if you're also playing Impulse. Or like something like throw in Nibiru in here as well. But anyways, if you guys did enjoy the video, hit that like button down below, subscribe to Team Beige, and I'm Marty, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.